Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's Daily Recap is for Tuesday, December the 13th, 2022. Tuesday, December the 13th. Well, we have Daniel, of course, running into Lily at society, and she's upset, from the conversation that she had with Billy. And Daniel is like, clearly something's wrong. You can always talk to me. So he kind of persuades her to tell him what's going on. And she was like, "Isn't there some rule about not talking about your current relationship with an ex?" But they end up talking, and of course, realistically, Daniel's very against Billy. Very I don't see how you together. Billy is destructive. Billy is this. Billy is that. And Lily's like, "Well, no, he can be very sweet and very this, that, and the other." And then Daniel's like, "Until he's not." And I'm thinking, Mr. Pot calling, "Where's your wife?" Okay, so don't give relationship advice. Don't be critiquing too hard, Daniel, because we don't know why your wife is away in another country with your daughter. We don't know. Now, do we? So anyway, Lily, she's kind of working through and talking to Daniel. Daniel wasn't persuading Lily, but she was talking through her fears. And her fears are, for one, yeah, this is a pattern of Billy's. And Billy fixates. And she says it's kind of like all consuming for him when he gets locked onto something and no one else can get in. And she even said, "I think what he went through with this person has connected them in a way that they're in their own little connective world." And you know Daniel was like, "Yeah, and you're not in it." you know and so she's like, I'm not saying that anything is going on between them, but they're on this emotional level that even like she can't even reach, right? And so, excuse me, Daniel was like, "Lily, you already know what you need. What Billy is going through or what Billy is doing has nothing to do with you." And she goes, "I know, and that's the problem. We're going further and further apart, further and further apart." And the funny thing is, it almost reminds me, remember back, see, he does this to Victoria too. Remember when he had to find out Ashlyn's secret right before Victoria's wedding? Billy couldn't eat, sleep, or do nothing else but that. And that's when they had the communications company. And Lily would say, "Back off of that. Leave them alone. Leave Victoria alone. She's a grown woman." Billy was doing the exact same thing, right? He even gets gains, flies them internationally. See, I mean, Billy just does that. So that's Billy. And so Daniel said, is this a pattern of his? Is he falling back into old habits? And actually the answer was yes. This he is. He doesn't see it that he didn't see that, but he is. So upstairs, Chelsea and Lily, her face, I kind of felt for her because she's really agonizing over this. She's really like, "I really believe this is going to be the end of our relationship." That's what she's thinking, that, you know what? I really love this man, but I think our relationship's in trouble. And it is going to be because Lily may love you. She will put up with you to a point. See, being married to Kane pushed her endurance to limits more than once. So now she doesn't have that long suffering tolerance that she did when she was 20 years old. She just doesn't, you know. So she's realizing that with everything on my plate, I honestly might have to let this one go. And I was trying to figure out, they bought that place together, or if they didn't buy it, they moved into it together. So who gets to leave? Right? Is Billy gonna move up over the crimson lights with Chelsea? Connor ain't having that. Adam either. Adam either. So now we have Chelsea talking to Billy upstairs. And Chelsea wanted to go way back to how she conned him and drugged him and slept with him, and he ended up in jail for being drugged. I mean, Victor, but see, Victor planned all of that happenings. That was Victor. And Billy was like, no, we don't have to go back there. And so she goes, no, I do. I have to make amends. You did not consent to sleeping with me because you were drugged. I drugged you. So that was wrong. And because of it, I had Johnny. And she says, and what else it was wrong is Johnny will get older and he's going to ask, how did we meet? And for him to hear that, and I thought, chick, you would never tell that kid that. How many of us, why and our daily recap fans, have met people in unfavorable circumstances, but we're adults, we're considered adults, right? Things happen, although not what Chelsea did. Look, drugging somebody, being paid to target somebody, that's a whole different area. But I'm saying, how many of us have ever told our children the true deal on our adult affairs? How many have? You don't tell your child that. Bottom line, they met in a bar out of the country. We met in a bar out of the country. Unfortunately, we didn't know each other very well. And depending on how old the child is, it better be old, right? And we slept together. That's how you would conceive. See, and we didn't even know each other. So, don't do that. Don't do like mama did, okay? Don't do like mommy and daddy. Make sure you love each other. Make sure you're married, all whatever the good stuff you want to tell them, right? But you don't go into the details. He ordered a gin and tonic. And I spiked that gin and tonic. And I stirred it real quick while he wasn't looking, and I made sure he drank every bit of it. And then when I saw the drug was taking effect, I proceeded to take him right on out of that bar. And then I took him to, let me see, what Route 62. There's a motel on Route 62. I took him there. You don't tell you. So that whole thing, it'll be mortifying when we have to tell Johnny. And well, you would never tell Johnny ever that. So needless to say, I thought, well, that was ridiculous. And so Billy, it did make him really kind of reflect emotionally, because he said, she goes, Billy, I know I can't ask you to forgive me, but I'm happy, because he goes, look, you need to make amends. I'm open for it. She goes, you don't have to forgive me, but please just accept my apologies. I am truly sorry for what I did to you back then. And Billy said, you know what you did, our son came to be because of that. And Johnny is one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. So I don't regret what happened. I don't regret Johnny being here. He says, but I'd have to tell you, Johnny being here, I would hate for anyone to do that to Johnny. And that to me was more impactful. Okay. That to me would make Chelsea really realize her actions, like, oh my God, I would never want a young woman, to take advantage of our son in that. So you be ready to just see red and ring necks, right? So that was interesting. and very wow, interesting conversation. So Chance comes in. I'm seeing Chance and Sharon, everybody. I'm seeing Chance and Sharon. So he comes and he's talking to Sharon. And mind you, Connor comes in. Adam dropped him off. Connor comes over to the counter, and Sharon, he says, "Hi, Sharon." And he wanted a snack, right? And she says, "Well, not until you tell me what you learned in school." So they talked about amphibians, I think, and or whatever, amoebas, I think amoebas. And then they were saying, "I learned this, that, and the other." And then all of a sudden you heard this. And yeah, they also grow here, there. And it was Johnny. And Connor's like, "Well, hey, John." And he goes, "Hey, Connor." And so Sharon is looking like, "Johnny, your parents here?" And she goes, "No, I convinced mom to drop me off and let me hang out here for a little while." And I was thinking, isn't Johnny like 12? I don't know. Do you just drop your child off at the coffee house? You don't know if Sharon is working? I don't know. I was shocked that Victoria did that, right? Just dropped him off. "I'll see you later, son. You got a cell phone." You look, you practically a man. Okay. Look, when I was 12 years old, Johnny, I was walking from the ranch into town by myself. Yeah. But anyway, so he was talking to Connor, and they're like, so Sharon's like, "Okay, you guys get a table. I'll bring you some hot chocolate," because Johnny wanted hot chocolate, right? That's what it was, hot chocolate. And Connor wanted some. Connor wanted hot chocolate, and Johnny said, "I want some too." So they go sit at the table. They're talking about the video game that Johnny plays, and he's at level so and so, and he's showing Connor, "Let me show you how to play it." So they're talking, and he goes, "I hope my mom lets me get this game." And so Connor said, no, Johnny said, "Is she really strict on you?" And he goes, "I think on a scale of 1 to 10, she's about a 5. But she does monitor the games that I play. And she would have to make sure this is age appropriate for me." And so Johnny said, "Same here. My mom monitors the games that I play." And then Connor says, "And I can't play games until my chores are done and my homework is done." So they both kind of laugh with each other. They really are coming along, developing their own relationship. They knew, like Chance is saying, he and Sharon were talking, and she goes, "Look at how well they're getting along." Because he was worried. He goes, "I'm worried about being not being living with Dom. I was worried about the absenteeism. And she goes, "Well, bottom line, you don't have to be absent. Look at both boys have gone through divorces, multiple divorces, and finding out they're not cousins, they're brothers, and look at how they're working things out." She goes, "You, Dominic and Abby, you, Devon and Abby love Dominic. You're gonna work it out. You're gonna make sure he feels safe and secure." And so Chance was looking over at him, and she goes, "You go over there and learn a few things from the boys." And he goes over and he goes, "What you guys talking about? What game?" And so Connor is showing him, and he goes, "I want to learn how to play." And they're like, "You really? You want to? Okay." Because let's see, in reality, let's see, Abby is Victoria's sister and Adam's sister. So she's both of their boys' aunt. Chance was just married to their aunt, but he's not related, but yeah, he's family. So they were actually having fun, and Chance was feeling good, like, just, goodness, he's out of that, just always thinking about, the separation and everything and the hurt he feels. He was having a good time talking to the boys. So that was really, really cute to see. Now we have Abby coming into Devon's house with her key. And I said, "My goodness, so we got keys now? This is your home too?" And as she's talking to Dom, she's talking and she goes, "Daddy said that he'll be home soon to just come in and make ourselves at home." So, I mean, we know Devon's giving her keys, and he says, hey, look, I'm out, going in, settle him in. I'll be home soon, right? So just a bunch of her talking to little Dominic. I fast forwarded all of that. Well, at the office, Victoria and Nate were meeting. They were having a meeting. They were going over some of the things that they're going to do in LA. And Nate says, look, he also made an appointment with this K-pop, platform guy, and he's really a buzz, got a lot of following. And, he goes, I think he might be a great addition. And Victoria's like, well, okay, let's meet him. And then, because they kind of laid out their itinerary, and he goes, oh, you know what? I hope you don't mind. I invited a lady to come along. And Victoria looked at him. She goes, really? On your first business trip? And he goes, I hope that's okay. And she goes, but it's just we have meetings scheduled back to back to back. He goes, oh, yeah, I know. And she goes, no, Elena coming won't get in the way of interfere with any of that. And so she goes, And as she's saying, thinking like, well, I planned on seducing you in LA. What, huh? That get in the way of my plan. Nate gets a text from Elena. There are doctors out, excuse me, so she can't take off work. So he goes up. Elena can't get out of work. She's got to fill in for some doctors that are out. And Victoria said, oh, because first she goes, Elena can't go. She goes, oh, is everything okay? As if she cared. He goes, oh, yeah, they're short staffed. She can't get away. And Victoria's like, oh, okay. And I'm thinking, yeah, bingo. The plan is still on. You still ready. And Devon comes in. Nate, I need to see you. I mean, just interrupt the meeting, but Devon is still salty about Victoria and what she did with Nate. So Nate's like, well, we're in the middle of something. Like, you know what? My secretary's out there. Make an appointment, right? And so Victoria says, no, we're done. And Nate says, really? She goes, yeah, we're fine. We're done. So she gets up and she walks around Devon. She doesn't even look him in his eyes. She sneaks out like, the snake she is. She slithers right on out of that office. And then Devon was telling him, you know what? I came to tell you to keep out of my business. And so the typical sniping back and forth. And Nate is like, well, I just want to know what happened with you and Amanda. Had to be, and Nate just kept going on and on. And I thought, you're supposed to be an adult. Do you have nothing to do but try to tear your cousin down? It's still Nate. Yes, Devon could have been more mentoring to Nate, but it's truly showing right now. This is all Nate. This is still Nate with his issue with his hand and his issue with wanting to not see any good happen to his cousin, right? And so Devon said, look, Lily told you it was none of your business. It was family business. I told you it was none of your business. Why do you keep trying to get in my business? What I said, Amani had just told me that she and Amanda weren't coming back. He goes, yeah. And then you had to call Amani again today because Amani told me that you really wanted to know what happened. He goes, I'm going to tell you this right now. Stay out of my business. It's not your business. It has nothing to do with you. Stay out of it. You are not a part of this family. This has nothing. He goes, yeah, but now I'm more intrigued because Amanda was defending you. And as a matter of fact, Chance was getting off the elevator and she went into the room. She was on her way into your apartment. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, Nate, what would even bring you to that conclusion? Amanda stayed in town till the next day. Amanda did not just leave, get right back to the airport right after that. See, he assumed a whole lot. And Devon is looking at him like, and it's still none of your business. Like, Devon is like, what is it to you anyway? What? Because as adamant as you are about me staying out, that means, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what an idiot, Nate. What an absolute idiot. You're going to go out of town and you're going to sleep with Victoria. If you don't this trip, it's going to be the next trip. Look, Victoria was worried about Nick saying Sally could claim some sexual harassment. That's exactly what she's going to do to Nate as his boss. That's exactly what she's going to do. I would love to see that angle. Now, Nate's caught between a rock and a hard place. I was going to say something else about it. I ain't saying that. He's going to be caught between a rock and a hard place. But that is so ridiculous. Well, for one, what was ridiculous? Devon should have never went to Nate's office. That was ridiculous. Just ignoring him like he did in society, that's enough. But I think what pissed him off is Amani had called Devon, because Devon would never call Amani, and said, Nate, she just talked to Nate, and Nate again is bringing up what happened between him and Amanda, because Amanda didn't tell Amani what happened. And Devon didn't tell Amani either. So now we got Amani and Nate wondering what happened, right? So anyway, that ended that, and that's all there was to that. And I thought that's useless. That's a whole useless topic, Nate. And now we're gonna have Nate being snooped. I mean, come on now, please. It's ridiculous if Nate knows there's nothing. What's he gonna do? Print an article because he's now over Newman Media, a smear campaign against Devon? I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him. Unique 107049 says, Johnny is Jack's nephew, Billy's son. You are 100% right. Because I said, what do you mean Jack don't have any? Yes, Johnny. I forgot all. You know how it's funny? Billy is an Abbott, but you forget he's related to those Abbotts, right? Because Billy is always off on a cloud on his own. And then Annette says, yes, they say Ashlyn is dead, but remember the phone call he made saying, I need your help. No one knows who was on the other end. Yeah, I don't know either. Jack has a half brother from his mom. They did find out that she had this older kid, and I guess they truly decided to drop that whole storyline, right? And Annette says, sorry, my wrist is broken. Audra is the daughter of darkness to Noah. Daughter of darkness to Noah. Trouble to Tucker. I could see her with Adam together, but due to his son Connor, she's a no-no. Yep, that's right. She's not mother material. Annette says, guess who's getting blackmailed for Christmas? Phyllis is on Santa's greedy list. Yeah, Phyllis is going to be in trouble. And then Libby says, that was the weirdest stack of pancakes I've ever seen and the funniest donut conversation I've ever heard. That when Chelsea put that stack of pancakes, I was like, who's going to eat all that? And why are they so thick? That's what I thought. So I'm with you on that, Libby. Those pancakes, I'm like, well, goodness, that's going to sop up a whole bottle of syrup. They're so pancake-ish. Medora says, I think Billy is traumatized about Chelsea trying to kill herself. Billy needs therapy ASAP because his fears of her attempting suicide, his fear of her attempting suicide again may stop her progress. Don't forget, you're right. I forget it all the time. Please like and subscribe to this channel and like this video. I forget to say it all the time. Anyway, thank you so much, Medora. And Libby says, this is a great idea for Billy to get therapy. That's right, I know. Definitely a PTSD moment for him. Remember, he could have gone off the roof with her. I know. My heart still goes out with that scene. Oh my goodness. That was something. I think everyone close to Chelsea could benefit from some family sessions. I know. With her and the therapist. She has a serious illness that can impact many lives. You're right. I think they're, but remember, weren't they, she and Adam and Connor supposed to get some group therapy behind that? I thought they decided on that, but hasn't happened. And Monique says another thing happened in the cabin when the Abbotts held Adam hostage when Sharon found out about the baby switch. Ooh, I remember when Sharon found out, but I can't remember them holding Adam hostage. Yeah, but I know he did have to pay for that because remember, what's the daughter's name? Sharon and Nick's little girl. Oh my goodness gracious, she's in college now. Anyway, look, out of sight, out of mind. Can't forget their name. I can't remember their names. If somebody in the recap say her name, Faith. Oh my God. Thank you, brain. Faith. Remember, Ashley thought Adam gave that baby to Ashley. And ironically, Ashley named her Faith too. Or what did she name her? Hope. She either named her Faith or Hope. So yeah, when they found out that that was not her baby, oh goodness, that sent Ashley over the edge. She was already over the edge. But anyway, that is the daily recap of The Young and the Restless. I will be back tomorrow for the next daily recap.